This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me just having a little bit of a play over a jam track that I have in stock, and as the title of this video suggests, and as you could probably hear, it wasn't me trying to illustrate fancy scales, clever tricks, twiddly kind of shreddy sort of stuff. It was, frankly, all I was trying to do there was just play something that was well phrased and hopefully memorable. And that is relevant to what we're talking about today, because today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays I delve into the post bag, as it were, and answer viewers' questions. Although I am taking a little bit of a departure from that this week, because this is a question from one of my students rather than from a viewer. And I have had viewers' requests of this nature in the past. And I've always thought, well, I've done this topic before, which I have, but it has been a while. So given that it came up in a lesson this week, I thought I'd address it in a video. And what I'm talking about is that situation that I think many guitar players find themselves in, where you know your kind of scale box patterns and you can run up and down them, no problem. And that is kind of the problem, because when you start soloing, it often becomes just going up and down a scale. How to stop yourself noodling, meandering, rambling, basically. So that's what today's video is all about. And here's a little bit of an explanation about how, once you've got your scale patterns under your fingers, you can hopefully turn them into something memorable and musical.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, the magic ingredients here really are quite simple. It's space and repetition. We'll deal with repetition in a moment, but let's deal with the space thing to begin with. Use plenty of it in your solos. If what you're trying to do is to create a memorable solo, then you want your phrases to be memorable. You want people to be able to you want them to stick in their heads. And you want each phrase to be kind of punctuated, if you like, by some space that allows it to breathe. Let me show you what I mean. This is a little illustration I do with many of my students when we're talking about this topic. Repeat after me this sequence of numbers. 4, 7, 9, 13, 2. That's pretty easy, isn't it? 4, 7, 9, 13, 2. Easy to remember. Now try this string of numbers. 4, 7, 9, 13, 2, 86, 15, 90, 77, 18, 12. That takes a bit more doing, doesn't it? Because you've got more information to assimilate. So if you're giving the listener more information to process, then they're going to struggle to remember it. By definition, it makes what you are playing less memorable. So short phrases, punctuated by plenty of space. Don't be afraid to let your hand fall away from the neck. You see plenty of the kind of guitarists that we're kind of thinking of here that are maybe not associated with kind of mega shreddy kind of pyrotechnics on the fretboard, but we always think of them as having great phrasing. Gilmour springs to mind. You often see him in the middle of a solo do this, while he's thinking what he's going to play next. So that is, I think, a valuable tip. So leave plenty of spaces, short, memorable phrases. Now, let's look at the repetition element of things. People are often scared of repeating a phrase because they think it's going to make it sound like they've got nothing else to play. There's no ideas, there's nothing left in the tank. And if you don't leave spaces between your phrases, that can have that effect, a bit like this, I guess. You see what I mean? It just sounds, kind of like you're just repeating the same thing. But if I was to do that same thing there, but leave spaces, and you can hear I'm varying the ending of it a little bit each time. If you can make your next lick just a variation on the lick that you've already played, then it makes it means that you're probably not going to run out of ideas, because you know what the next lick's going to be. It's just going to be the one you've just played with a slight variation on the end. And then you start listening to what the band are doing, what the rhythm section's doing, and where the drummer's kind of putting in something of an elaborate fill, or the music is building to some sort of climactic moment. That's when you can extend and stretch out a little bit. So, to take that previous example of a few runs through that, as you heard earlier, and then kind of build it on the final one. So you get 2, 3... Hopefully you kind of got the idea there. It's a bit difficult without the backing track. We're going to look at some examples in a moment. But did you hear how at the end of that I returned to the original idea again? Another thing you can do is, as part of that extension, where you're kind of stretching it out a little bit, you'll often stumble across some kind of fragment of an idea whilst you're doing that extended part that can serve as the basis for what you're going to do next. So like that, and again I kind of went off on some sort of repetitive thing there. So to illustrate all of these ideas, or this repetition kind of idea, hopefully a little bit better now it's going to be in context, here are some examples from that solo that we looked at, that you heard earlier, where I'm using this repetition thing. Here's the first one. So hopefully you could hear in that one that, I played that basic idea, then almost doing like a question and answer thing. Play the basic lick, then play some kind of response to it, go back to the lick again, then a different response. Here's another example, doing roughly the same kind of thing. So, a slightly different ending on the second repeat of the lick. And again, it gives it a sense of continuity. Here's another one. And as you could probably tell there, I was off into some sort of extended part that was, I think when I played the solo, I think I did do something that was vaguely based on that extended part. Let's have a couple more. Here's another one. So once again, play the same, or basically the same lick a couple of times and just vary the ending on the second time. One final one goes like this. And once again, I go off on a little bit of a tangent, extending it a little bit towards the end. So, space makes your phrases sound more memorable because you're giving the listener just that little moment to reflect on what they've heard, process it and recognise it when they hear it again, and therefore give it some sort of almost a feeling of continuity. And to aid that, use the same lick multiple times, vary it a little bit. You can usually tell if you're listening to what you're playing, which is an important thing to do, I might add. You can usually tell if you're listening to what you're playing when an idea is beginning to outstay its welcome, and it's at that point then just extend it a little bit and see what you can scavenge from that extended part to begin a new idea on, for the next chapter of your solo. So there you go. Hopefully that's been some help in terms of understanding phrasing. Hope you've found that useful, and now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you will find a full tab for that solo that we kicked the video off with in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo, a jam track to play along with for yourself, and that explanation you've just seen there. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative and hopefully entertaining in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and a whole host of other great things. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.